Thank you for the introduction. I'll tell you what I do. I hold two professions. I have a master's degree in clinical psychology, and I hold a PhD degree in industrial organizational psychology. So I try to do research that tries to explain organizational phenomena from individual point of view. I work and I live in Istanbul, Turkey, but I also have residence in the United States. So I go back and forth between two countries right now. And I do work in Istanbul Bilim University as an assistant professor. And I do research about oneness, which is a topic I'm very much interested in, both professionally and voluntarily, as I also work voluntarily for an organization called Humanities, based in the United States, but it's a global organization. And I'm going to be talking about that briefly later. To come to research, I just wanted to give some depictions about the current world situation. I'm going to be very fast because we don't have much time. As you can see, the world is full of crisis, with political turmoil, economic crisis, inequality in income, and suffering and hunger, famine still prevalent in certain parts of the world. So we can say that the world is not in a very good situation right now. And why I'm doing this research, I quote Albert Einstein here, who says that the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the level of thinking we were at when we created them. So now we need to come to a different level of thinking, as also has been mentioned many times in the morning sessions today. We have to come to a different way of thinking. And he says, a human being is part of a whole called by us, the universe, a part limited in time and space. And he experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest. To experience who we are, we need to be separate, and that creates the illusion of separation. But in the actual form, we are not actually separate. These are some pictures of living in illusion of separation. Some of us don't see where we are, what we do in life, and some of us are stuck with our own addictions. Addictions could be about alcohol, addictions could be about food, addictions could be about money and self-interest. So we are living in this illusion of separation. What is living in oneness? Living in oneness means sharing, communicating, interdepending with each other, and helping, supporting each other. So these are some pictures about living in oneness. I did a lot of research in terms of researching about oneness idea as far as the papers are concerned, but I did not come across many operational definitions. Operational definitions in the psychology literature, we mean to define a term in a measurable terms. We need to define it so that we can measure it. So coming to individual, the individual means indivisible. So there is an individual, the word indivisible is coming from that. There is a Latin root of the word, and it means integration of mind, body, and soul, unity in oneself, unity in diversity. And does it mean sameness? No, it doesn't mean sameness. It means however diverse we are, to be united. So the individual in his mind, body, and soul as one, practicing, physically being healthy, to be able to communicate and express himself well, to be a psychologically healthy individual includes all different levels of being, physical, mental, spiritual. And from the yin-yang principle, it's integrating our feminine and our masculine at the same time, because all of us have masculine and feminine side to our own being. So it's also yin-yang principle. Okay, coming to my research a little bit more, I started with the concept of self-awareness. For psychologists, self-awareness is an important term for us. It's to be aware of who you are, what you are doing, what you are feeling, what you are thinking, So it means, and it's also associated with greater emotional intelligence, better communication with others, deeper understanding of one's own motives, feelings, and actions. So it means being conscious of who you are at an emotional level, thought level, and soul level. In the literature, there are different ways of measuring self-awareness. Mindfulness is a term very much used in the literature right now. It mostly reflects staying in the moment, being aware at each moment, being aware of where you are, who you are. But I found integrated self-knowledge also what I wanted to do. Integrated self-knowledge is a way to measure an ongoing self-awareness. It includes your past, present, and your future. So it includes your vision, who you are, and your past, who you were as a person. So, and also stable mental representations are under integrated self-knowledge. And when we look at individuals in organizations, here the key variable is connectedness. The self-aware individual, okay, the person is self, but how does that connectedness come about? How do you bring that connectedness in the organization? So, as also discussed in the morning today, organizational research is now also shifting from concepts such as competitiveness and reductionism more to co-application, cooperation, collaboration for inner balance. But again, for inner balance, lots of things are said, but for outer balance, how the individuals create that outer balance with other people in the organization. There isn't much of that said in the behavioral terms. Different concepts are outlined. For example, respect and trust for the other is very much outlined by Ishak Azizis. He is one of the management gurus who still gives workshops and delivers speeches all around the world. Empathy by Pavlovich and Kranke. Sensing and sharing of feelings of one person by another. Altruism and citizenship. Citizenship, organizational citizenship behavior has been found to have very much related to the people in connection with the others. And it refers to the roles that go beyond your usual role. For example, you might be a clerk in the bank, but when your friend is suffering from a stomachache, you might just leave your work for a second and then help the person. So OCB refers those behaviors that go beyond your role requirements. Extra role behaviors, meeting according to organizational policies. It's also obeying the rules, but it's also going beyond the roles to help and support the other people in the organization. I thought citizenship as a concept has a relationship with oneness, and it has connections regarding helping others, altruism, giving support, and it might be a way to create that outer balance that we are talking about, the individual inside the organization. And I created this term. I haven't come across something called oneness behaviors, organizational oneness behaviors. Maybe I couldn't find, but I really looked at it deeply. How do we go?
Oh, go back?
Yeah.
Yeah, here. You got it?
No.
No.
I want to go up, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Page up. Yes.
Good.
It is yet to be operationally defined. It connotes interdependence in the organization. It requires self to be the whole. You know, in the beginning we talk about the whole self, the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Sees the other as not separate, whole self require awareness and consciousness. That's what I actually claim in this research. What do I want to do? The aim of this is to understand the oneness principle as it applies in the organization via using behavioral domains. I use behavioral examples. The reason I use behavioral examples is I want to give some specific, understandable examples for people to use. Some guidelines, so to say. We talk about oneness in very much philosophical terms, in spiritual terms, but we need to define those in terms of behavior. So it's linked with self-awareness and organizational citizenship behavior. And I asked these questions for my research. Does integrative self-knowledge have a predictive power for one's behavior? I have 2 minutes left. Do one's behaviors correlate with some, if not all, OCD factors? Do citizenship behaviors predict one's behaviors? I'll go very fast now. And the method of the study is 143 individuals. By the way, this study is still continuing, so I'm collecting data, especially from the English-speaking community. I didn't collect this from people who don't know English, especially people who know English as their primary language at work. So I have hard time in Turkey for this, so if you can help me, that would be great. 143 individuals. I used a multinational corporation to start with, and the questionnaires were these questionnaires, so I go very fast. And the results seem promising, as the thing is that the internal reliabilities are very good for the scale, and it looks like integrative self-knowledge has a positive correlation with citizenship behavior and oneness behavior, but especially if you take out oneness behavior from the equation, the integrative self-knowledge loses its predictive power for the citizenship behavior. So something about oneness is related with integrative self-knowledge here, it looks like. And I looked at organizational oneness perception, which was also important. And behavior and citizenship behavior has correlation. As a result, coming to discussion, the personal factors are important for organizational citizenship behavior. Integrative self-knowledge has a predictive power. And there are things about oneness and citizenship behavior that are not contextual only, but also personal. The self-responsibility was found to be very important. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Thank you very much.